Hello everybody and welcome to the fourth episode in the Art Gallery of Algoma's Winter Wonderland video series. Today, in celebration of Sault Ste. Marie's annual Winter Festival, we'll be making 3 fun Bon Soo themed projects that are easy to do at home. We'll begin by making plastic shrink ornaments and necklaces of the festival's friendly mascot, Mr. Bon Soo. After that, we'll be exploring the art of cookie decoration by decorating sugar cookies with the face of Mr. Bon Soo. Finally, we'll be making a snow sculpture of our favorite snowy friend and coloring it with food dye. So without further ado, let's get into it. The supplies you will need in order to create your plastic shrink ornaments and necklaces will be a plastic container. I'm using a recycled container and this one is a number 6 plastic. You can typically find one like this at the grocery store or at a bakery. They're often used for baked goods. For instance, the container I'm using previously held croissants. An alternative to recycled plastic is to buy shrinky-dink sheets, which are made specifically for this activity. These sheets will allow your charms to shrink even more, but I find that recycled plastic works great as well. You'll also need a piece of sandpaper, some pencil crayons, you'll only need red, white, and black, a pair of scissors, a hole punch, some string, a baking sheet, and an oven to bake your plastic cutouts in. Before beginning, you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees so that it's ready for baking later on. The first step in making our plastic shrink charms is opening up our container and cutting down the center to separate the top and bottom. Next, cut off the edges so that you're left with a nice flat surface. I'll only be using the top of my container since the bottom's got a bumpy texture, which won't work as well when it comes to the next steps. Be careful when cutting since the edges of the plastic can get a bit sharp. Once you've cut that out, take your sandpaper and use it to rough up one side of your plastic sheet. Do this until it's no longer transparent but has become white or more opaque. Now we'll begin on drawing the outline of Mr. Bon Soo. With your black pencil crayon, draw a circle for the pom-pom of his hat. Then, beginning at the top right corner of your circle, draw a curvy V-shape for the top of the hat. Make another V-shaped line at the bottom of the one you've just made to form this sort of diamond shape. Extend it slightly past the point where they meet and make another small line coming down from that line. To finish off the rim of the hat, make a curvy S-shaped line underneath the first one you've drawn so that the two meet. Draw a small ear shape on the right side of the head just below the hat rim. Draw a small line within the ear shape. Now create a semicircle shape which connects from the bottom of the pom-pom to the bottom of the ear. Draw a black filled-in oval for the eye, and then another oval for the nose, but this time don't fill it in. Lastly, draw a curved V-shape for the mouth and create a little diagonal smile line on the right side. Go over any lines that you want to make darker with your black pencil crayon. Now it's time to fill in our outline. With a white pencil crayon, fill in all of the parts of the face except for the diamond shape we created at the very top of the hat. This includes the pom-pom, the band around the bottom of the hat, the face, and the nose. As you're filling it in, try not to get too close to your black outline so that you don't smear the color, which would end up turning it a bit gray. Fill in the top portion of the hat with your red pencil crayon, and once again, go over the black outline to touch it up if necessary. Now, take your scissors and cut around Mr. Bon Soo's head, leaving a little bump at the top of the head that's big enough to punch out a hole with your hole punch. I like to leave a bit of a border around the head because I find that it looks a little cleaner, but you can do it however you'd like. Now, take your hole punch and punch out the center of the semicircle you've made at the top. While you're still at the drawing stage, you might want to make more than one charm, to try making a full body Mr. Bon Soo, or to try out different shapes and designs. Place your cutouts on a baking sheet and put it in the oven for about 2 to 3 minutes. This will cause your plastic cutouts to shrink and harden. Keep an eye on your charms as they're in the oven so that you can watch this process and so that they don't burn. You'll notice that the edges may curl up a bit, which is totally normal. You can try leaving them in the oven a bit longer if you notice them curling, which will sometimes cause them to flatten out. If you notice that they're not flattening, you can always try taking them out and pressing them down a bit with a fork or spoon, but be very careful because they will be quite hot. In order to turn our charms into ornaments and necklaces, we'll now thread a piece of string through the holes we've created, tying it into a knot and cutting off the excess string with scissors. And there we are! Now we'll move on to decorating our Mr. Bon Soo cookies. Start with your favorite sugar cookie recipe and cut them out so that they're round. If you don't have a circular cookie cutter, you can use the rim of a wide mug or glass, which is what I did for these cookies. Once you've baked your cookies, the supplies you will need in order to decorate them will be red, white, and black frosting. I recommend using a frosting that is easy enough to pipe with a piping bag, but also thick enough so that the colors don't run together when you're decorating. Buttercream frosting is great for this, and that's what I'll be using today. You'll also need some piping bags fitted with a small round tip. Beginning with your white frosting, pipe on a semicircle to make the bottom of Mr. Bon Soo's head. Attached to the end of your semicircle on the left side, pipe a circle to make the pom-pom for his hat. Create a curved shape like so to attach the circle you just made to the other end of your semicircle and pipe on a little oval for the ear. Now, fill in the face with your white frosting using a back and forth motion. Take your red frosting and pipe on a sort of diamond shape for the hat right on top of the head and fill that in. Now we'll outline with black frosting and add the facial features. Start by tracing around the circle you made for the pom-pom. Then pipe a black line at the base of your red hat. Make a curved S shape like so underneath that, leaving some white space in between to create the rim of his hat, and connect the two with a small vertical line. Pipe around the top part of the hat and around the ear, and then make a small diagonal line within the ear. Pipe a line around the bottom of the head. In the center of the face below your little point, pipe on an oval for the nose, and then one black eye just below the hat and to the right of the nose. Lastly, make a curved V shape for the mouth, with a little black diagonal line to the right side of the mouth to make a smile line. I think these cookies turned out really cute and delicious at the same time. Finally, we'll move on to making our Mr. Bon Soo snow sculpture, which is perfect since after all, Mr. Bon Soo is a snowman. Aside from nice and sticky snow, the things you will need will be 2 buckets or bowls of water, a spray bottle, red and black food coloring, and 2 large paintbrushes. Begin by rolling a large oval ball for the body of Mr. Bon Soo. If you find that it looks a bit uneven in some areas, you can gradually pack on some more snow or remove some to make it smoother. Roll a smaller round ball for the head and place it on the body, once again packing it down and adding to any areas which you think need a bit more snow. Make a big round snowball for the pom-pom of the hat and stick it to the left side of the head. You may need a bit of extra snow to get it to stick. Create another, slightly smaller snowball and stick it on in the middle of the face to create the nose. You can trim it down a bit if you want it to stick out a bit less. Now, create colored water for decorating your snow sculpture by putting some food coloring into your water and mixing it in with your paintbrush. Do this with both the red and the black food coloring. Dipping your paintbrush into your black water, paint on an oval shape for the pupil of the eye, and create another oval around that to make the full eye shape. While painting, you may notice your color running a bit. To cover up any imperfections, you can pack on some fresh white snow over top. Once again, paint a black oval with another oval inside to create the other eye. Now, paint a black moon shape under the nose to create your mouth, once again packing on snow if you notice that the colors run a bit. Using your red water, paint on 2 circles at the corners of the mouth to create blush on the cheeks. Then, paint the nose red and add some paint on top of the head to create his hat. Then, carefully write the words Bon Soo across the bottom ball in red letters. Now, we'll make the rest of his red outfit. To speed up the painting process, put some of your red water into your spray bottle and spray on a strip at the bottom of your snow sculpture below the letters and another strip just below the head. As you can see here, my black paint ran into the cheek a bit, so I simply covered it with some snow and sprayed some more red over top. Making art is all about learning as you create and making adjustments like this along the way. You may want to add a bit more color to certain areas like the eyes and the mouth to make it pop. And there we have it. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you were able to follow along. If you liked it, please give it a like and consider following the Art Gallery of Algoma if you haven't already. If you enjoyed this video, you may also want to check out our last video where we made colorful ice sculptures and ice lanterns and made a skating rink picture with a movable self-portrait. Thank you so much for watching!